Alright, what's happening, y'all, man? It is chaos. I wouldn't say it's worst case scenario because there is some positive news that I am going to give you throughout this video, but it is very ugly right now heading into this Eagles game that starts in less than 3 hours. Of course, I'll be live streaming that game as well, so make sure you pull up for the live stream. More than likely we'll have a post-game live stream because it'll be so late, but definitely pull up for the during the game live stream against this Eagles. And hey man, it's time to evaluate some talent. It's to the point where, I mean, we have so many guys out, it's just time to watch this game and see who we can keep for next year's depth, who may play so well that we got to think about them potentially still in a starting position, all that type of stuff. So that's what the stream is really going to be about, because our chances of winning are very slim with all of this news I'm going to give you. Most notably, Garrett Gilbert will be the starting quarterback versus the Philadelphia Eagles this evening / tonight. No Hienicke, no Kyle Allen either. Again, we're about to dive into all of that, but before we dive into everything, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell next to the subscription button so you get a notification immediately and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Also, make sure you check out the rest of the channel. All of my videos are organized in playlists. I even have a comedy playlist for all of my funny videos. And again, make sure you pull up to the live stream tonight. We will be watching this game together, evaluating talent, laughing at all of the chaos, and wouldn't it be amazing if we end up pulling a win out somehow? Just Garrett Gilbert just goes in there and balls out, but we'll see. But without further ado, let's get it. Alright, so like I've already announced, quarterback Garrett Gilbert off of the Patriots practice squad will start at quarterback for the Washington football team tonight. Taylor Heinicke and Kyle Allen did not clear COVID-19 protocols. They had a chance. They had plenty of time. All you had to do was put together 2 consecutive negative tests before 4 p.m. today, and they would have been straight, but they didn't make it. We had a private jet set up for them to fly out if they could make it at the last second, and we're going to talk about the guys that did make it on that private jet a little bit later, but Taylor Heinicke and Kyle Allen were not those guys. And it's sad too, because with Taylor Heinicke playing, even with all of the guys that we have out due to COVID and various reasons, IR, I mean, we have several guys on IR. We're also going to talk about that as well, because we just added another important piece to the team, to the IR. But even with all of that going on, Taylor Heinicke at quarterback, you still feel like you have a chance, especially if our defense plays very, very well. But with Taylor Heinicke out, I mean, this is almost comedy. We're technically having quarterback trials at this part, because Garrett Gilbert will be the starting quarterback. Kyle Shurmur, who's been on our roster the longest out of any of the 3 options that we had, is the backup. It's pretty interesting that Garrett Gilbert just got signed and is already the starter, while Kyle Shurmur's been here like almost the entire season, at least on the practice squad, and he'll just be the backup. And then Jordan Ta'amu, who was signed to the practice squad, was not elevated, so he doesn't even have a chance to play. If for some odd reason both those quarterbacks get hurt, Jordan Ta'amu will not even be able to come in. And as far as Garrett Gilbert goes, his dad played for the Bills and the Chargers and lost 5 straight Super Bowls. So, you know, you never know, man. Maybe this is their time. Maybe he's the good luck charm, 3rd time's the charm. We'll see. Bills, Chargers, and now the Washington football team as far as their family, as far as the family bloodline goes. But also, like, in very bad news, this is the 3rd time in 4 years that the Washington football team has gone through 4 starting quarterbacks. Not just playing, 4 starting quarterbacks. That is really bad. Also, to show how bad it really is, Garrett Gilbert will be the 4th starting quarterback to play for Washington this season, obviously, and he's the 8th to start a game for this team since 2019. No other NFL team has had more in that span. We are literally the true definition of the quarterback carousel. And remember, I mean, granted, Taylor Heinicke and Kyle Allen are out due to COVID, but that's only 1 extra quarterback to that. Without that, we still lead the NFL in starting quarterbacks since 2019, even if COVID-19 never existed. So it's still really bad. COVID-19 is not an excuse for why our quarterback situation has been so terrible. And also what I take from that is that we definitely need to be more patient with Ron Rivera and Scott Turner, because, I mean, a lot of teams have franchise quarterbacks out here. These guys don't, and they're having the game plan week to week, year to year for several different quarterbacks. If we get Scott Turner a franchise quarterback, I'm really interested in seeing what he can do, because he has moments, he has bright spots, he has genius ideas, really nice play calls, nice play designs, but he's just been very inconsistent. But our quarterback play has also been very inconsistent. I feel like if we get some elite quarterback play, some elite traits, or some consistent quarterback play, I think we will definitely appreciate Scott Turner more. And back to the private plane situation, again, Taylor Hienicke and Kyle Allen did not make it, but 3 guys did. Troy Apke, Sammis Reyes, and Tim Settle. At first, we knew Tim Settle made it, and we had 2 more guys, so like ideally, we were hoping it was some more impactful players, but Troy Apke and Sammis Reyes, you know, we'll take them. But we were definitely hoping for some bigger impact, some starting level guys that would have made it. We still have a lot of starters out, not only due to IR, but also to COVID, even just beyond Taylor Hienicke and Kyle Allen. Like offensive line, I mean, it's bad, bro. Kendall Fuller, I mean, we already knew Kendall Fuller wouldn't make it though. He's not vaccinated, and you got to be out like a minimum of at least 10 days. So there was no way he was making it since the first time he tested positive. But we were hoping, you know, some other starting level guys may have been one of the guys that made it, but nope. Also, while we're at it, they elevated a few guys from the practice squad to the 53-man roster as COVID-19 replacements. So you have tackle David Steinmetz, quarterback Kyle Shurmur, who we already talked about, linebacker Dijon Harris, and fullback Alex Armand. And then in very sad news, first of all, Ricky Seals-Jones is questionable for this game, and I'm pretty sure he's going to play. It's going to be the first time he's played in a while, in a few weeks. But in very sad news, first of all, Curtis Samuel's out, and then J.D. McKissic has been placed on IR, so he's done for the season, and that really sucks. It's been like concussion protocol / neck injury this whole time, and it seemed like it was week to week, and now they've officially just placed him on IR, so that really hurts. As far as Curtis Samuel, I mean, it's kind of as if he's never been there anyway, so it doesn't even feel like a loss because he's never really been here for us to feel like we lost him. I mean, he missed the entire summer, got hurt very early in mini camp, so he no training camp, no none of that. Then he missed the first 3 weeks of the season, and then got healthy for a game and a half, starting with the Falcons, and he only gained 27 yards. Then he missed another 7 weeks, then came back for 3 more games, touched the ball 5 times for 11 yards, and now he's out again. So it's not even really like we miss him, but it still sucks. And then, yeah, J.D. McKissic, the IR really hurts. That's one of the biggest to IRs. Logan Thomas, Wes Schweitzer, J.D. McKissic, all of those have really hurt, man. Samuel Cosme has been activated from the IR, along with Montez Sweat, so that's good news right there. We get those 2 back after not playing for weeks. Montez Sweat got off of the COVID-19 reserve list and then the actual injured reserve list, again, along with Samuel Cosme. So now we have our starting right tackle back and one of our starting defensive ends back, but overall it's still more bad news than good, but that's some good news right there. Also, speaking of good news, Matt Ioannidis was activated from the COVID-19 list, so now we have Jonathan Allen, Montez Sweat, Casey Toohill, James Smith-Williams, Tim Settle, and Matt Ioannidis. You know, that's a pretty good defensive line. We have most of our defensive linemen back, not all of them, but most of them. But back to bad news, Brandon Sheriff was one of those guys that did not make it. Again, like I already said, if he could have tested negative before that private flight, he'd be on the way to the game right now with Tanya Snyder and friends, but he did not make it. I mean, because he just tested positive for COVID yesterday, so we already knew he wasn't going to make it pretty much, but that still really sucks. And then speaking of the guys on COVID-19, we lost 7 coaches as well. Our defensive line coach, Sam Mills III, wide receivers coach, Drew Terrell, running backs coach, Randy Jordan, DB's coach, Chris Harris, assistant DB coach, Brent Weisselmeyer, defensive quality control coach, Vincent Rivera, and our coaching intern, Christian Garcia. All of those guys will not be present for the game due to COVID-19 as well. So it's not even just players, it's coaching staff as well. And so Sam Mills will be replaced by assistant defensive line coach, Jeff Zaganina. Our wide receivers coach, Drew Terrell, will be replaced by senior offensive assistant, Jim Hostler, who's also our tight ends coach. So now he's double duty this evening. Randy Jordan, our running backs coach, will be replaced by assistant running back coach Jennifer King, and assistant DB coach Richard Rogers will replace DB's coach Chris Harris. And the silver lining from that is the fact that Jennifer King being promoted to running backs coach, and also the Browns had to elevate a female coach to their running back coach due to COVID-19 protocol as well, which makes this week the first time 2 women are coaching a positional group in NFL history. So that's the one silver lining from it. There's history being made. And it's really interesting too, because with all of the COVID-19 situations that we have, out of the 23 cases for this team, players-wise, it's reported by the chief medical officer, Tony Casolaro, that only 2 of those 23 cases were sick enough to have been withheld from practices based on their symptoms. Everybody else is pretty much asymptomatic. They're just testing negative. Also, I mean, the Eagles, they were good to go up until yesterday when they had to place tackle Andre Dillard on the COVID-19 reserve list. So they also have a case as well at the last second. Also, in random news, Washington is 2-3 in their last 5 games against Philly, but Ron Rivera is technically undefeated against Philly. He's 1-0 with that final game that he coached going into the wild card that we had to win to go against the Bucks. And then also, as a random update, the bench wars continue. We're pulling a Dallas move and bringing our own benches to the Eagles game with our logo and name on it and everything. I don't like it. I feel like we're just basically being great value Dallas right now. I hate it. I feel like we're just, especially a lot of fans hated the idea of it when Dallas did it. So you got to have that same energy when we do it. If anything, only worse. It's only amplified because we're just basically, if you hated it, you got to really hate it, the fact that we're copying it from another team. I'm neutral. I didn't really care. I just thought it was petty. And I also think it's petty that we're doing it. But apparently, at least it's going to be relatively cold this time around. So it makes more sense than when Dallas did it, but I still hate it. Daniel Snyder already seems like great value Jerry Jones. Now it really looks like it with this decision. Also, the Panthers signed kicker Liram Harulahu off of our practice squad. So if you're one of those guys keeping track of that, just know that he is not currently on our team anymore. The Panthers took him from our practice squad. And I'm not sure if y'all have noticed, but we've had far more injuries, and even this COVID-19 outbreak you can add to this list of things that's gone wrong since our head athletic trainer Ryan Vermillion got caught up with the feds. Ever since then, it's just been downhill as far as overall health for this team. And Ron Rivera's addressed it. He said that the Washington football team is basically taking a by committee approach and trying to fill in for head athletic trainer Ryan Vermillion. You can tell we're definitely going to scout for this in the offseason to get ourselves a guy from somewhere, because literally, by committee approach for something that important is crazy. But right now, all medical issues for the team basically run through Anthony Casolaro, and that's our team's chief medical officer, who is also president of the NFL Physician Society. But we also have Dr. Chris Anuziata, who's our head team physician. We also brought in Greg Smith, the former head athletic trainer for the Capitals, to help out. So it's just ugly, bro. It's just chaos. We're just doing patchwork and trying to band-aid everything and just make do with what we have. But boy, if any team needs an off season, it's us. Like right now, we need it. And then lastly, before we get up out of here, in really positive news, Pro Bowl votes wise, Jonathan Allen is 5th in overall defensive tackle Pro Bowl votes, but he's 2nd in the NFC, only behind Aaron Donald amongst NFC defensive tackles. And this is so far with the fan vote. Fan votes are 1/3 of the votes. Coaches and players are the last 2/3. So as of right now, Jonathan Allen is definitely in the Pro Bowl, but we'll see once coaches and players vote what happens. But as of right now, with fan voting, Jonathan Allen is in the Pro Bowl for the NFC. And then also DeAndre Carter is 1st in the NFL in return specialist votes, so he seems like he's good to go. And long snapper Cameron Cheeseman is 4th in overall votes as well, so he'll probably make it in as well. So that's great, man. At least we got 3 guys. I feel like Terry McLaurin should definitely be in there. I feel like Cameron Curl is super slept on. A few guys, but better luck next year, man. We're gonna get them in there. Once we start putting together consistent winning football, more guys will get recognition. Hopefully we don't have any more London Fletcher like victims that literally, truthfully, have Hall of Fame career statistics and a Hall of Fame resume, but just simply isn't in the Hall of Fame because he played for such a sorry team throughout his entire career, man. London Fletcher deserves better, man. Hopefully we can do better for a lot of these other guys. And as much as we don't like Brandon Sheriff has kindly broken down the door for us, because it was hard for us to get anybody on the Pro Bowl, especially consistently on this team. And Brandon Sheriff, even when he doesn't seem like he deserves to be on it, he'll make it. Even last year, he was first team All-Pro and he missed games, and even when he played, he didn't look like the best guard in the NFL. So shouts out to Brandon Sheriff for helping us there. And hopefully Jonathan Allen and these guys, DeAndre Carter, Cameron Cheeseman, can keep it going, because it's time to get a lot more guys. And like I already said, Cameron Curl, Terry McLaurin. Hopefully we get a quarterback that's good enough to be worthy of it. Of course, I would like to get Montez Sweat and Chase Young in there. I think JD McKissick and Antonio Gibson got to stop fumbling, but I think we get to the point that they should make it. Some more offensive linemen. We'll see though. Cole Holcomb put together a really nice year as well. Maybe not Pro Bowl level, but he balled out. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video. Please like this video if you liked it, if you learned anything. Again, make sure you pull up for the stream starting at 6:45 for the 7 p.m. game. And as always, man, I appreciate all of the support, man. Shouts out to everybody that donates to the channel. Shouts out to everybody that pulls up to the live stream, leaves a like. And of course, man, shouts out to all of my sponsors, especially my Pro Bowl sponsors whose name you see scrolling on the screen right now. Man, I really appreciate y'all. Catch y'all later. I'm out.